everything humanly possible that I do. So if you're ever looking for some education, we constantly have some kind of Facebook Live going. I hope that kind of fits somewhere in there. David and I are my co-founder with Business Growth Network, so I have an agency, Warfare Marketing, and that's great for companies who are ready to go growth, but I've always wanted to help the people who weren't quite ready for that. So David and I got together. He is the vision warrior. That is laughable. He likes to take people from zombies to humans again, inoculate them against the virus. I'm getting better. Away from the business zombies walking around doing all the wrong things. So part of that kind of concept is still what I do over on my agency side. Is we did start on Fiverr. That is where I got started. Before that, I was ex-military intel, so a book nerd who researches stuff and has a clearance that you can't talk about type thing. Did interior design as a 180 from blood and guts, because what's the complete opposite? Designing office spaces. And then left that for kids, considered investment banking. Small children like that one and investment banking don't really go well together. So I just was doing the stay-at-home thing, and as I was just telling some of the other lovely ladies in here, my oldest daughter, who you see walking around, there was a little clip, Fiverr probably paid for it in Child Magazine, that said a great thing for kids to do when they're older, but not like 18 or 16 maybe, is to work on Fiverr and make a little extra money. I'm still like, again, I was intel, I know what's out there, so the idea of my daughter working on a global platform with money and talking to strangers terrified the heck out of me. And so I'm 8 months pregnant, like a total beached well. Like I literally, I had this love seat, all the pillows in all the right places, and I didn't leave. And so I decided I'm gonna research Fiverr from my phone. Well, you really can't research Fiverr unless you start buying and selling. And I didn't know what to buy. I didn't even know if it was worth the money to buy anything yet. So I started selling things. So I just went in there and researched, and I was like, what are people selling? And who's actually selling? So not like they just have something for sale, but they've actually sold like 1,000 items. And so I just started selling that. There's that. Y'all are a riot act. But in doing that, you kind of start learning what business owners actually need. I'd always had a side hustle, because if you're a mom or a parent, a side hustle when you have a job is good, right? Things happen, recessions happen, you get laid off. You're in the military, it doesn't pay enough for you to really have kids, right? Go find my conference room. I'm not joking, dude. Go find your dad. 3. I'm gonna take your iPad away for like a week. Do you want your iPad? Yes. Then get out of here. I always had a side hustle, but I had never been profitable. It always just maybe broken even. It'd been more like a hobby. But on Fiverr, one of the things that I got to do is you got to figure out what business owners actually at least think they need. I say think they need, right? Because they're out there looking for SEO, or they're out there looking for reviews. I've written so many reviews. It's not ethical. It breaks every terms and conditions. I've ticked off lawyers at Angie's List, probably Yelp, and several others. And I'm now all white hat, thank you. But I did get to learn what it is they need, why they need it, and to dive into their business and hear their troubles. And then you start realizing you need to get better at things, right? Like that, what you're doing is not enough. So how many people are in here are actual Fiverr sellers? Since we have some Fiverr people. I have a few. What do you sell?
We sell like everything from like web design to also like some marketing books, like kind of 10, 15 page PDF type books, and also just like consulting and education services.
Are those books on any other side? Or do you use them as lead magnets? For lead gen?
We've used it in one other community.
Okay.
But that and Fiverr are the only ones that we're actually, we've kind of been like mostly like doing like development type work, and we've been doing our business for quite some time, but now we're leaning more on the here leading the service side, but now it's education. So you're seeing there's just a lot more value there for people.
That's true. Anybody the other sellers?
Yeah, I sell voiceover services and writing.
I'm gonna need to know your Fiverr account.
Writing.
Voiceover service.
And what else you said?
Writing.
Voiceover is my big one.
I'm Amber. I'm also paramilitary. I sell clinical services like for providers, doctors. We do scribes also, and we provide research services like for anybody who wants to do research. We can start them off till the end. So we do all that.
I wouldn't even know how to purchase
And we
that.
do medical writing. We do writing and medical writing and blogs and reviews. But, there's an integrity issue in review, but other than that, it's like there's a market for it. You create a gig based on what she said, like you see what the business owners want. But what I created was I don't know if it's going to even sell some of the gigs that I created for.
Hey, sometimes things don't sell. That's real world too.
Yeah.
I can create
But I did find buyers.
100 different products. One might blast off, 50 might fail miserably.
Yeah.
You should never judge yourself just because one fails. Just because, and I kind of go into a little bit in the presentation, just because somebody needs something doesn't mean that they know that they need it.
Because they know, you know why they need it? Because it's very expensive. I used to work, worked in research for 15 years. And I know what I did cost a lot of money to the company. They invested a lot of money. So I provided the services relatively cheap, because Fiverr takes their part also. So I didn't find buyers because they want that services done cheaper because they don't want to pay that much money outside.
And that's essentially how we built a business, was you start somewhere. I kind of laughed, my husband laughed at me because it was $5 and he makes $2.50 an hour minimum because he's an attorney, fancy schooling and all that. But 5 turns to 300, turns to 500, turns to 800, turns to 1,000, and then you can get bigger clients. So we rolled it as the way to bankroll my education. And now we're here. So the presentation, feel free to interrupt me and ask questions. Just know that I will go off on tangents, so sometimes it's better to let me stay with the presentation. David knows that well. The wine probably does not help. But the general, go ahead.
I've been on Fiverr for such a long time. This is
Selling
the
or
first
buying?
time, buying and selling.
Okay.
This is the first time I got an email with a Fiverr logo saying there's a meeting here. How did you?
Okay, so community is something they're trying to build desperately, right? When Fiverr first started, it was a concept, right? People need things. Let's create a platform to connect A and B, right? Buyer and seller. And they did that. And then what happened was a lot of Americans scoffed in the same way that my husband laughed at me a little bit, like $5 and you only make 4. Thanks, baby. Love you. I could be playing Farmville, but doing this instead. But a lot of the people that were Bangladesh, India, the Philippines, where $5 is a lot of money, right? It means more, right? If you do something and it takes you an hour and you get $5, that's good, right? You are in the highest bracket. They needed to expand that and make it more and bring in those other countries that were actually buying, because in the same way Americans would want to buy from other Americans. Like, she's doing voiceovers. Americans wanted American sellers because we need an American voice for our commercials, stuff like that. They realize what business owners need. Some things don't matter what country. In fact, that's completely changed my mindset on business. Is I don't care what country an employee works in. I know if they can do the work, that's all that matters to me.
My
But what
question more is, Fiverr discourages from sharing emails and phone numbers, and we have a group of here with Fiverr's logo.
So that was kind of where I was going.
I mean,
They're trying to change and evolve.
from her down to that.
But they're trying to evolve. So they'd gone from that where everyone, all the sellers were in one country and buyers were in other countries, and they were trying to mix that. So they need more American buyers. The best way, David knows everything about me, including how clumsy I am. We're partnered with digital marketer Ryan Dice. One of the things that Ryan Dice said at the last traffic conversion was very telling. Community is the new brand. Period, dot. Nike can only do so much advertising to get you to buy a shoe. What they can do is put Colin Kaepernick on there and build a community and tap into an existing community, and those people become buyers. Inside, like my old agency, my partnership with David is Business Growth Network. That is a community. Several of you, how do you say the word? What community you have? I can't remember. You brought people here from a group. Internation.
Yes.
That is a community. A bunch of people were willing to come into somebody's stranger's office at a strange time on a rainy night with hopes of food. Alcohol's better, because she's built a community of people who already know each other, like each other, trust each other. So that is now what Fiverr's trying to do on a global scale. The problem is you have to find somebody to host an event, you have to find a location. It's a lot of work to build a community, but that is their goal, because community is the new brand. Does that make sense? I could probably give an entire presentation on that.
How do they select you?
How do they select me?
And why?
I don't remember how they selected me the first time. I think I have a tendency to go off on tangents when I'm on the internet. So I probably applied or put my name in or something of that nature. We did 2 events that went really well. And then that person who had coordinated those events left or fired or whatever. And they brought in somebody who was really gung-ho to do this really bigger, better. So my point of contact there, whose name I cannot remember because I'm not a name person, we put it together. That is their goal, but it takes having someone on the ground. Fiverr can do a lot of work. They need someone in the city to do just as much work, if not more.
So you're employed by Fiverr?
Yeah.
To put on
Yeah.
No.
Partnership.
What is it?
And screaming child. And I'm gonna hit the TV over and over again. All right, any other questions? All right, I'm a little silly, by the way. So building a consistent marketing strategy. The first thing that I actually did learn on Fiverr, watching people struggle, and then going to networking meetings inside of Dallas, and continuing to watch people struggle, is there are perfectly good companies with great ideas, great concepts, great services, great products, and they fail miserably. And then I will watch a con artist win. Like straight up con artists with terrible services, terrible products. They don't even have a product, and yet they're banking. How does that person bank and the person who has something wonderful is struggling? Marketing. One, you're not treating it like warfare. That is warfare marketing.
You're peace lovers, man.
If you try to be nice to everybody,
She means the other way around.
That's what we're not doing.
You don't understand the war.
instead of being passive, what would you do in a warfare situation? You would have allies before you ever went off, right? You'd have partnerships. You'd have a strategy going in. You wouldn't just decide. That one is not happy. You wouldn't just decide, we're America, we're just going to go randomly shoot some bombs off and take over a country that way. It would not work out. When you go to warfare, you have an incredible amount of information going in about the other country. You have information about your allies. You have information about yourself. You go make friends, you go make allies, you go in with an absolute strategy. You're going to go this way, you're going to enter from this way. Once you get in, you're going to take these key nodes, and then you're going to move forward. Most business owners are like, I have something great, let's everyone buy it. There's a guy, he's actually an anthropologist. He watched how bugs decide to mate. That totally has everything to do with marketing, right? How does one strange bug meet another strange bug and get busy and have kids? Now, if anybody from Dallas, like from here, like any of my Dallas people, anybody do patios and just watch people on the weekends or go out and people watch? So I'm picturing this anthropologist is on a patio somewhere just watching the strangeness that are humans when they go out on the weekends and essentially look for someone else to get busy with and have babies with, right? He watched them the same way that he watched animals. And he documented them the same way. And he came down with 12 steps. 12 simple steps. Number 7 is hand to face. Step 7, hand to face. Step 1 is just, I see you, you see me. It's just eye to body, right? Imagine going, I'm going to see you, and then I'm just going to walk up to you and put my hand on your face. I've already had a conversation with you, and if I put my hand on your face right now, that would be so weird, right? Weird. Like, they've actually, if you look at it, skipping 2 steps is the definition of sexual assault. Whether you're at the bottom or you're at the top, you can't skip 2 steps. There's a process. When we are selling and we are in business, we try to skip about 8.
Wow.
You are sexually assaulting your customers.
Wow.
You're laughing, but how many people here hate being sold? They hate buying a car, they hate going into a cell phone provider because the salesperson is sexually assaulting them with sales, right? They're just too much. You're like, I just decided that I think I might want a car yesterday, and you're trying to sell me a Volvo. I don't even know if I like Volvo yet. So this is kind of the process and the idea of build a freaking strategy first and treat it a little bit more like warfare. I never like talking about myself. I'm ex-military, I'm certified, I'm partnered up. If I can't answer something, I will connect you with someone who can, blah, 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 no one cares. Kind of going backwards, referrals are not enough. Referrals are stage 8. So when you walk into a networking meeting and you meet someone for the first time, so some of y'all have never met the other people in this room, and you walk up to them and you say, hey, I'm a coach. Can you refer me to other people who are business owners that I could coach? Okay, I need alcohol before I can talk to you, right? And it's also not consistent. Even if you do get referrals, how many referrals can you ask for? How many networking meetings can you go to? How many Facebook posts can you have? How many groups? There's literally not enough not enough time, not enough energy. There just has to be a breaking point of how do you take that and scale it. The other guy is winning because he's figured out how to scale it. Exponential growth needs lots of reach. The most expensive and the most difficult step is step 1, awareness. If people don't know you, you got no reach. Then you need a process. If you don't have a set process of this is what a customer needs to do, this is what a partner needs to do, this is what a referral needs to do, how do you know if it works or not? If I have a 4-step process and people go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, but they never hit step 4 or step 4 gets flaky, I know there's something wrong and broken between step 3 and 4. Like a car engine, right? Something breaks, you can track it back and figure it out. Create a process. I don't care if you're a Fiverr seller, I don't care if you're a business owner, I guess it's kind of both the same. You need a process. The process can be broken, you could change the process, but you have to have one to start so you can see where it's broken. Anybody know Damon John?
Well, thank you.
No, somebody, right? One of the things that he says is, I did not fail, I got data. That's all failure is data. And when you have that sales process in place, no matter what you call it, there's like a billion terms for it depending on what coach you're listening to. When you have one, you know where it breaks. And you can keep, instead of trying to replace the whole thing and think the whole thing is broken, you can say, man, 1 and 2 are great, let's fix 3 and 4. And then we'll see, and once you start testing those back and forth, that's how your opponents are getting a process that works. And then automate the win. Once you figure out what works, put that shit on autopilot. Whether you do a Fiverr seller, whether you go to Upwork, whether you hire people, whatever you start doing, you move past that and you start putting cogs to do that stuff for you.
So how did you automate your Fiverr business?
How did I automate my Fiverr
So
business?
I've done it with some messages, like I've done it so many times where I know like what they're asking and I'll templatize it, where it inserts their username. And so thank you so much for your message.
I did template all my questions. I templated all my delivery emails, and then I, in caps, would put all the stuff that I needed to change each time, like their name, the link, stuff like that. The other thing and that's probably where I learned automation from, was automating that in Fiverr, was that I can now add exceptionally more value to every single person because I've started to create templates for everything. So one of the things that I got really good at that I did on Fiverr that I used to offer was a complete Facebook business page audit. $5. I would go in there and tell you every single thing that was wrong with your business page, right? Well, the secret to that is I have an Evernote template in there that's like this long, and then I can go in there. Do they have this? Yes. Do they have this? Nope. Blah, blah, blah. That. Delete that, keep that, delete that, change that, tweak that. And I can sit there and I can deliver that, so I can audit somebody, 10 minutes over wine, you know, watching TV at the same time. Why? Because they all make the same freaking mistakes. When I would get a good Facebook page, I'd be like, like, whoa, they're actually good. Now I have to like work harder. Well, then what did I do? I go through and I work in the template, adding to the template, not an original file. And so every time I have to add something new, it goes in the template, not the other one. So can I automate it? No. Like I can't automate emails automatically. You still have to be there in Fiverr. But you can templatize everything. And that same thing applies whether if you have an independent business or you're on Fiverr. Idea is templatize every single aspect humanly possible. People like to think they're unique. Businesses like to think they're unique. They're not. They might fit in different boxes. There might be 100 boxes. But in the big scheme of things, they fit into a few boxes. Architect the win. Once you have a client or something that goes right perfectly, right? Figure out why. What did you say? What did they say? What was their situation? Go back and research why it was an easy win. And start putting that into your templates, put that into your automation, put that into your mindset. What did I say when I win? What did I do, or what was the situation when I lost? I can tell you right now, if I'm worried about money, if I'm worried about winning, or if there's any kind of pressure on me, like I do really well under pressure. But I can promise you, if you are money desperate, it shows. And you will lose every single pitch if you are desperate. And that is really hard, trying to go into a pitch and be like, I don't care. Whatever. This is kind of what we come up with. At the front is our new model that's very specific and much more customized to what our customers actually see. This is the 8 steps. Why are there not 12 steps like the guy put together? Because we're not trying to get busy with clients. We're just trying to get them to refer us out, right? So knock 4 steps right off the bat. This is the hardest, most expensive one on the planet. Awareness. There are 3 ways to make more money. One is more awareness, more customers. If you have more customers, you know, if you have 5 customers and you go to 10 customers, you're gonna make twice the amount of money, right? That's the easy part, right? The hard part is the awareness. If somebody does not know you exist, they can't buy from you. If you're a Fiverr seller, if you are not completely keyworded out so that people can find you, they're never gonna know you exist. If you're not out on Twitter or Facebook and also sharing what you're selling, no one's gonna know you exist. The other way to make more money is A, get them to buy more each time. Fiverr makes that easy for the Fiverr sellers, right? And get them to come back. One of my people that I worked with SEO for a long time, like my company would hire them for SEO, so I didn't have to do that part, is he would always put a little deal in there when he delivered. Hey, the next time you buy, not asking, hey, if you want to buy again, no, the next time you buy, if you buy 2, I'll give you 3. Okay? Right up at front, if you buy 2, I'll give you 3. Hey, you bought from me already. If you do this, I'll do that. And you just keep churning and you don't even know what's going on until you're like, I didn't even need that. I just bought it. So getting those 3 things, more customers, more sell at the point of purchase and get them to come back. The only 3 ways to make more money. That's it. If you ask someone to buy, the first possible purchase is over here at step 4, and that is a low purchase. It is a purchase of money or time. Over here is the actual purchasing of what you actually want to sell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps in. And you're trying to like walk up there to a stranger and put your hand on your face. It does not work, right? If you're a Fiverr seller and you're trying to skip the $5 buy straight to a $500 buy because you'd rather have the $500 buy, it's not gonna work. They're 10 states away from you. They have no idea who you are. You could be a scam artist. They don't understand Fiverr. You've got to walk them through these stages slow. Get them to know you, educate them. That's your profile. That could be your web page, your social media, lots of different places, your LinkedIn, because that's highly searchable. Get them to subscribe, get their information, get a way to contact them. Up to that point, you can't do anything other than searching and paying for ads and stuff. Convert them on time or money, something low, like $5. Excite them. That's the one everybody misses in their sales funnel.
Oh.
It depends. The one that I think is the most humorous is for the older people in here. The younger people are going to have no idea what I'm talking about. When Sports Illustrated sold magazines, they didn't actually sell magazines. What did they sell?
Cover. That woman on the cover.
Oh, well, there's that too.
Football phones.
Football phones. You're not buying a subscription. That's not tangible. You don't know what stories are in there. You don't know if it'll be useful. We're going to give you a football phone. Glamour magazine, still to this day, uses that same method. We're going to send you a purse. By the way, it's a shitty purse, ladies. Don't let that get you in there. It's a really, really bad purse. That was using a premium. It could be that you super excite them, that you bring them further. Like most people would charge for this particular consulting service, you added that part for free. If somebody on Fiverr hired me for a Facebook audit, most people are going to give them this much of information because it's $5. I gave them like 3 feet worth of information that was absolutely comprehensive and included a checklist that they could go through and pick off every single thing. So not only did they have the actual audit, they had another checklist of all the other things you can do, because if I build it once, I can use it over again. So I just made it better every single time. 243 cells in, it's a really good template, right? Architect that excite phase. That's a big win right there. How do you make somebody excited once you get their time or a little bit of money? And once you make them excited, getting more money from them is a lot easier. This is where your core offer is. This is where your profit maximizer. Our profit maximizer is like a ridiculous offer. It's that really expensive, like somebody's gonna be stupid enough to buy it. It's gonna be a low convert, but somebody will buy it, right? It could be the completely done for you service. I can tell somebody how to build a website. I can give them links to all the stuff that I actually use, but then I can add something up here on the top end that's like, hey, pay me $350 a month and I'll just do it for you, right? Advocate, ask for the freaking review. It doesn't matter if you're on Fiverr, if it's Yelp, Facebook, LinkedIn, something. If you've done a good job, ask for the review. I would say if you're unsure, ask for feedback first. And then if they give you bad feedback, don't ask them for a review. Technically speaking, terms of service for Yelp, since I'm very aware of those, you're not supposed to ask for the review, technically. But Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, all those you can, Fiverr you can. Ask for it. Most people don't ask for it. Hey, if you were happy, give me a review. If, depending on the terms of service, not advocating anything black hat here, bribe them for the good review. Hey, if you leave me a good review, I'll add on this. I will send you the files to your logo. Something of that nature, right? Hook them up, right? Promote, that is the referral. When somebody actively goes and makes a video and posts it on Facebook, when they actively go tell their friends about you, that is promote. Know your sit rep. None of that even matters if you don't even know where you're at. Anybody know what a sit rep is? Situation report. You have to know where you're at first. I usually go troll through testimonials. That was actually part of the Facebook audit, is I would hit the reviews first. What are your clients actually saying about you? Stop thinking about it so like emotionally. Girls are the worst of this, we really are. Although guys get angry about it. Just look at it objectively. This is what they're happy about. This is what they're sad about. This is where I think probably the biggest part that I was able to add on Fiverr in that review is, hey, people think you price too high. They have nothing but wonderful things to say about your service, but as a plumber, they think you cost more than everyone else. So, solution, you're not changing your prices, let's be honest. Some $5 person is not gonna tell you to change your prices. You're gonna be like, okay. No, you're gonna be expensive. You can educate the client ahead of time though. And let them know this is why we cost more. We have this amount of education. We're a master plumber. We're going to take you half the time to finish the job. We're not going to tear up your house. We're going to use premium quality products, educating them prior to even telling them a price. Go ahead.
So is this a Facebook page review?
That particular one that I'm referencing was I would do a Facebook audit of a business page.
Or the business page?
Occasionally somebody would send me a personal page that they were using as a business page, and I even had a whole block in my template for that. Hey dummy, get off this, you're technically not allowed to do that. In fact, I had one of my very large clients who pays me several thousand a month. They were operating on a regular page. I mean, they had a business page too, and they just lost it, so they named themselves Jane Jetson. Not Jane Jetson, they switched 2 letters so it wouldn't be completely whatever. But do your research, and you can learn a lot from those reviews. These are actually 2 reviews of myself. Whatever you're selling, do to yourself. There's another big tip. David does visioning. It would look really poor on his part if he's telling everybody else to do a vision and he didn't have one, right? How bad is it for a marketing person to have a terrible first page of their website? By the way, I do. Mine's got a little boo-boo on it, but we're replacing it. We got enough reviews on it. Back before we rebranded to Warfare Marketing, I boosted a post that said make Facebook fun again. Somebody called me a privileged navel gazer. I am military. My answer to that was full of expletives. I did not answer, did not troll, but it did tell me that my name was wrong. That the person that I was trying to be a social media manager was the wrong person. That is not my personality. I've sat in a room with a company that's $50 million a year and told them, I'm not gonna write your proposal because you're not ready for it. That CEO was like, what did you just say? Nobody tells him no. Somebody told him no. That's my personality. This is a string of expletives that if somebody would have said this to my face, I would tell them to go fuck herself. But you start to read the good ones too, and you can learn who you are, and you can start to tweak your business based on those reviews. Reviews are huge. Get feedback in reviews. Don't be afraid of what people are going to say. This is my personality. I'm a little dark. I'm a little black. We'll say gray. I'm not black. I'm gray, right? But that is social listening too. Go through and listen to what people say about you. That is a big aspect of social media that nobody actually pays attention to. I'm not going to go through all the details of this, but know who your client is. And I don't mean just know, okay, they're age 30 to 40, they kind of live in Frisco. No, pick one person. I'm going to call her. I'm going to offer her $25 gift card to Amazon or whatever her favorite place is. Usually Amazon because it's easier, I can email it. Can you hop on the phone with me for 20 minutes? Yeah? You serious? Yeah, I'm serious. What are your actual goals in life? Not just as they pertain to my product, but your goals in life. Because now if I know your goals in life and your goals as they pertain to my product, I can now have a much more lethal conversation with you. Because I know what you're actually trying to reach, what you're actually trying to accomplish. Not everyone trying to build a business, so example of mine, is trying to make more money. Some of them want to be famous. Some of them want notoriety. Some of them want to win a very specific award. I can tailor my sales conversation if I know what they actually want, right? I want to know what they actually value. You know, in Texas, what is it? All hat, no cattle. We want proof. We don't want to talk. You know your BS. I've actually heard people say that in the most Texas twangy way. And I'm like, man. I want to know how old that person is. I want to know how many kids that person has. This person thinks they're unique. They're not. It's not personal, and I'm a former artist. It's all about uniqueness, right? You're unique. I can see that. You're like, I am unique.
No, you're right. Though.
You all fit in little boxes in some form or fashion. Now you might be in one box in this little corner of the world, and you might be in a different box over here. But when it comes to selling a product, they fit in some kind of box, right? I sell marketing services to business owners. Are they a micro business, a small business, a medium business, a large business? I can tell you right, I don't want to work with large businesses. Y'all have bureaucracy, not dealing with the red tape. I did enough of that in the military. Not happening. Here's a funny one, and I didn't even really understand this until I heard Ryan say it again. Ask somebody who's been a client of yours what they would say to recommend you to another person. write that quote down. There's going to be a little piece in there that's really quintessential to selling your service. For the Musical Arts Schoolhouse, we were able to double their revenue from $750,000 a year to what are we up to? $1 million a year now? And we did most of that in 5 weeks. So it's like, it's just as far as the number count of the students goes. I was on the phone to one of their best clients, and I was sitting there talking to them, and she said that, you know, the kid was doing the shows, and I knew that the school was doing shows, but I was like, that's a 3-year-old. Y'all saw my 3-year-old. Y'all see how she's all up on the stage and she didn't have any fear whatsoever? That is because of that school. She's actually part of that school now. And she's like, they do 5 shows a year. I'm like, what do you mean they do 5 shows a year? My 3-year-old doesn't like get away from my leg. What are you talking about? They're like, yeah, they were scared the first one. They were all right the second one, but the third one, they owned the stage. I was like, wait a second, you're telling me a female 3-year-old is owning a stage. The #1 fear in America is public speaking. What happens when a 3-year-old asks questions in 1st grade, 2nd grade, 5th grade, takes leadership positions in high school, in college? Now she can be Sheryl Sandberg at F8 speaking, right? That's what I'm selling. I'm not selling preschool. I'm selling the ability to take especially your girls, because that's predominantly who they're selling to, and turn them into Sheryl Sandberg. Giving them the early childhood development needed to be Sheryl Sandberg. That's that quote. Know the objections, know their role in the process. I might be talking to a CIO, and that's the person I have to get a hold of, but he's got to make the CEO happy and the CFO happy, and they already think very little of him. Know whatever that dynamic is for your sellers, know who you have to make happy. Know their challenges, know their pain points. If you are selling back adjustments, it's literally a pain point, right? Their back hurts. If they're a business owner, they've got no consistent sales. That's like on Fiverr, that was the biggest one. They have no money whatsoever. That is why they're on Fiverr buying. They can't afford an SEO specialist who's going to charge $200, $2,700 a month for their SEO. They need someone who can do it for 10, right? It may not be the best, but they got nothing better to do. They know that somebody told them they need SEO. They don't even really know how that fits. They don't have a strategy. Knowing that can help close a sale. And then understand what something means to them on a deeper level. Most people only talk about the have. My client does not have a bed. Now they have a mattress, they have a bed, right? Simple. The mattress is, 84 inches by 64 inches. I obviously have no idea what a mattress size is. Those are the specifications. If you go to a literal furniture online store, they don't even put this on the front. You have to click on another tab, or you've got to scroll down to the bottom. The part that matters is, how does it make you feel? How does it change your average day? And even better, the status. That status. When I buy my cruise ticket, I am not buying that sardine cage of a room with a bad mattress on it, right? No one cares about that little room. In fact, it's terrible, right? Even if you get the expensive room, you still got nowhere to walk. The shower's like this big. You've got like this room to use a toilet. What am I buying? I'm buying the status of being a traveler. I'm buying the status of a global traveler who's been to 4 countries in one trip. I'm buying that picture on the beach with the little hot dog legs in the air and my drink in the Cancun perfect ocean water. That's what you're buying. You're able to change their average day, because what are they going to do for the 6 weeks up to that cruise? They're going to be on there picking out their shore excursions, shopping for their drinks, shopping for clothes, packing their bags, telling their friends 6 weeks, I'm going to be gone that week. They're getting their social media posts ready to brag to their friends, even though the internet is terrible on that boat. And then how do they feel? That moment you get off and you get all the frustration, you have to get off the boat, and you have to actually go to the island, and then you sink your feet into the sand at Cancun, and it's all toasty and warm, and that ocean water is, Cancun, by the way, best ocean I've seen so far. Like blue, green, perfectly clear. That's that feeling. Write down, how do your clients, what do they have, feel, average day and status prior to your product or service? And what are those saying things after you? In an ideal world, assuming they used it right, did everything right, had everything else in place, ideally, right? Ideally, right? What is that? Like, going back to Nike, what was their slogan with that Colin Kaepernick thing? And I don't even know which side of y'all are. I know it was very divisive. Which side of you are on? That message at the end can speak to every single athlete on the planet. Be willing to work for something so hard and give up everything for it, no matter what. I got the words all twisted, but you get the gist. That's what they're actually selling, was that mindset of who that status of a person is. That person isn't just an athlete, they're not just a runner. They're someone that is willing to give up everything to have something that very few can have. At the bottom, I won't get into that much, have a villain. Who is the Darth Vader to your, what is the good side? Luke Skywalker. Oh, the person. The
Force.
No, the Force is everybody. Everyone can use the Jedis. We'll go with that one. When you have that information, everything else becomes really simple. I won't go into the details. We do that in our membership and everything. My product helps the person I discussed with their after state. There's your whole elevator speech right there. You don't have to, when you understand the after, everything comes simple. So this kind of just, I went through that already with y'all. Architect the sales conversation, everything else becomes plug and play once you have that information. Sales conversation. Since I know you want this thing, then this product service is obviously the next logical step. That is literally the conversation through all 8 steps. Hey, I see you're at a Comic-Con conference. Since you're at a Comic-Con conference, you're obviously interested in whatever this Comic-Con thing is, and you would like this poster. Come buy it. You bought this Comic-Con poster for $20. Wouldn't you like to actually go meet the real person? That is literally from step to step. You're just saying, since you're interested in this one thing, aren't you interested in the next thing? Once you're in this step, let's go to that step. Itty bitty tiny steps. If you've already got a girl on a dinner date, asking her for another date is not a big step. It was asking her for your phone number. That was the hard one, right? But if you've already been engaged in lots of good conversation, then the phone number should be no big deal thing, right? Now, if you just walk into the bar and you just go touch her face, that's bad. Then you can start getting into branding. I would recommend you pick out a character that represents your brand. It's a lot easier to envision your brand as something else than it is yourself. It takes the personal touch out of it. Pick out your colors, fonts, topic maps, who you're going to talk to. Notice this was last. That's how little and insignificant this can be when you are getting started. And somebody who's listening that's doing branding and stuff like that, like, no, it's not. It's very important. It's very important once you get going. Build a bridge. That will be the last thing that I will talk about. Build one freaking bridge. In the military, these guys up here, the Army Corps of Engineers, will build the most rickety bridges you've ever seen. If you want to see a scary bridge, go Google that. They have these like things, they float on pontoons and they wave, like you walk across them and your feet are like moving everywhere. They're not connected very well. Like you got some thick rope and all, but I mean you take a step and you're careful about it, right? That same bridge will move tanks. You can roll a tank across that bridge and get from one island to the next. You can get across a river using the ugliest bridge you've ever seen that's probably feels super dangerous, but it's actually really safe, right? Do that in your business. The problem is you build one half bridge because someone told you that having a logo was important, and you maybe didn't even finish the logo. You got one logo, you didn't get it in white, you didn't get it in long format, square format, and all the different formats you need. You didn't get the original files, you have no idea what colors are in it. Somebody told you you need to be doing Facebook ads, so you take that logo and you slap it on a bad picture and you put it on a Facebook ad with terrible copy, and then it doesn't work and you're like, oh, well, let me try something else. This other person said webinars are great. Well, this other person said I need to go to networking meetings. And you keep stopping and you never actually have a whole bridge. Build one bridge. And then you get that rickety engineered bridge, then build another layer and another layer. Drop a couple of pylons, start building that Golden Gate Bridge as you can. Skip all that. Any questions?
It's really good.
David's bored in the back. He's like, heard heard this like 500 times. No questions, not one. There we go.
Well, I got a question for you, because I know a lot of these platforms are kind of similar, like when you talk about people per hour, kind of like 5 or 6 seconds a day,
Okay.
Upwork, all that. But what I'm asking is what point, is there like a saturation point where you're seeing like a certain amount of sales or revenue every, month or whatnot, and then you say, okay, that's kind of saturated, let me move on to like another platform, or let me expand to something else, what I mean?
Saturation point. I would absolutely believe there's a saturation point, especially if you're not doing additional marketing. So if you're depending on Fiverr to do all your marketing for you, then there's definitely going to be a saturation point. There's at a point where you can go out and you can market yourself broader and still let Fiverr do the work for you, or Upwork, or whomever, right? At the point you decide to change platforms, you're really stopping, and you're stopping that bridge and you're going back to the front. And that may or may not be good for you. Whereas if you, let's take the Fiverr example, if you're selling one particular product or service, what's the next one they need? What's the one on the side that they need? What's the other thing they need? And instead of sitting there and splitting yourself amongst several platforms, taking one platform and just adding more to what you do, and then driving additional traffic to that platform, instead of depending on just the platform to drive traffic for you. But by splitting yourself, you're gonna find, a lot of times it's the same people shopping, where they've been told to look on Fiverr, Upwork, I don't even know, there's another one out there.
People per hour.
Yeah, something of that nature. I would rather say dominate one and just kill it on one with 100 products or whatever it is, where everybody knows that they need this, they come to you, then split yourself up amongst 5 platforms and do poorly at each. Like if you're going to do Fiverr all the way. Be in the forums, drive your own traffic, do this, do that, be part of the community, speak all about it, drive your own traffic to that platform and let them handle that aspect for you. Splitting yourself up is time consuming. It's hard. I mean, I don't sell as much as on Fiverr anymore, I sell on my own, but there was a point, there was transitioning over was not easy. Any other questions? There's more wine.
But to be clear, you keep that channel alive.
Yes.
The Fiverr, even though you've migrated to another.
I've
channel.
migrated.
This is what you're really talking about is what I call a channel strategy.
Yes.
And you're as I know, you're advocating building one complete strategy. Once, if you ever, again, I think personally, the whole saturation thing is kind of a myth. But if you flatten out in one channel, you can add another channel with the same offer and not have to incur the expense, as opposed to going after a new channel with a completely new offer. Right?
And you don't have the same search engine optimization.
Let's say you're a Fiverr channel. Once you know it works on the Fiverr channel, then you can open up another channel, whether it's a network or Upwork.
But you're starting at the beginning.
Right. Precisely.
If you go from Fiverr to Upwork, you're starting from scratch. Nobody knows you there. You don't have the same voice there. I am deeply immersed into digital marketer in that particular community and that particular style. If I turn around, what would be a good, not really a direct competitor, I don't know, let's say Ask Method, even though Ryan Levesque is deeply embedded with digital marketer as well. That's a completely different community of different people I have to learn and get to know so they'll trust me. So the biggest one is even I can use Fiverr as a channel for lead generation. Still, I can go back and tap into the goodwill and all the sales that I have there, and I can add to it. But moving to a completely new platform, whether it's your own website, your own service, Upwork, I don't know, whatever the million different ones are, that's going to be an uphill battle. It's better to take a stand and say, this is what I'm going to do, and dominate that one. And that's pretty much everything. That's not just like a Fiverr platform. If you're going to pick a social media to advertise on, don't try to be on Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Reddit, StumbleUpon. Start on one. Dominate. Figure out what works, what doesn't work. Decide hey, Facebook's going pretty well. Let's try Instagram. If you want to try a new one, that's cool, but it's easy to dominate a new social media site. It's hard to come into an existing platform and build a name. And it's just exhausting. I need one picture image for Facebook, a completely different one for LinkedIn. Even though they're close, they're different enough. Pinterest is a completely different direction. Instagram is square. Now Facebook allows big ones, but it doesn't always show right. So now I'm looking at 10 different images I need for the same amount of content. Now don't get me wrong, if you're sharing a lot of great content and it's 7,000 words, by all means, spread it across the entire internet. But then start leveraging social media schedulers. You can't do everything on your own. There's one of you. One of you. Any other questions?
What about,
You're all the questions. You're the me when I was younger.
yeah. They also got like 4 and they got 10 as well. I'll be in front of those as well.
What is that?
I don't like copycats. There is a reason Fiverr was able to get in.
Yeah, that's all it is.
$20.
Uh, Unless the copycat is coming in and they're doing something exceptionally different or well, no.
So I have a finance background. I have a question about numbers. How much have you sold on Fiverr?
I don't even know.
Is it over $1 million? Is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
I think at the point that I was at $800 a month, I started leaving. I put my youngest daughter that you saw running around in here and my son in, I paid for their daycare. So my husband, we were already gonna send my son because he wasn't speaking at 3 years old. And we thought he needed the kindergarten prep or whatever you call it. And I looked, we just moved to Frisco. We were gonna get a house with an office space. And I was like, if I took all the money I'm making and I put it to her, putting her in school, which was still a little short because school's expensive, I would have all day to work versus an hour or so at night.
You bought time.
I bought time. And I like what I do, so it didn't bother me. Like there was a time I was only making enough for her to go to school. Anybody ever been a stay-at-home mom? Stay-at-home dad? I'll take that. It is not for me. I don't care to teach you about the red and the blue. I used to study rocket science. It drives me insane. I don't care. I need peace of mind, time. I need adults. I need higher level conversation. I bought time. That's putting it really great. So I can't, at about 800, I stopped selling.
Got it. Back to you.
Back to you, Johnny. And if that's it, that's cool too. I've got more wine and more food.
Thank you. Not really. Okay.
I do want to say this? Oh, thank you. I have stuff to give away.
Awesome.
Wow. I'll stay for that. Where'd I put it? Where'd I put it? Oh, right behind me. My favorite book of all time to write down your notes. One more question. Okay.
That is, so is this gonna be kind of a monkey thing? Is it gonna be like a Dallas kind of Fiverr kind of thing?
I can talk to him about it. I hold, David and I have weekly meetings on Monday at 10 a.m. It's not this cool. I can,
My answer, can I answer?
maybe.
A little bit.
Go ahead.
The answer is we're already running, I mean, one of the things I am a specialist in is creating networks and stuff like that. So if there's an interest and she can get the
I can work with Fiverr, dude.
Fiverr to do it, we'd be happy to figure out how to.
But let me ask, since we've taken that,
And we know how to build.
what did you like from today?
Cool, so.
One.
What else did you like?
We like the speaker because the speaker has got some brains.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take that.
It's also nice to meet people in real life when you're just doing work from your computer all the time.
That's how I met David. I went to networking just because I should people.
I like that it was succinct because it's not.
I'm succinct.
Very deliberate. Very
I I didn't know I was
Now,
succinct.
she's succinct, but she covers a hell of a lot of information in a short period of time.
Oh yeah, I teach military style. I talk very fast, I cover a lot, and if you don't understand, I'm sorry, keep going. What else did you like?
Top rated seller.
I'm number 2.
Yeah.
I think because I did shady reviews,
No.
you have to be completely white hat to be top seller.
That's right. Any nightmare Fiverr gigs?
I told my very first purchase, I purchased a logo. And this girl who said she was so experienced and went to school delivered this thing that was like bad 80s clip art. And I just, after like 3 different changes, I was like, look, this is how this is gonna go. You can stop now. You can deliver it. I'll pay my $5. You get your 4. I'm gonna leave you the worst review in the world. Or you can refund my money. And I got much pickier about it. And I started figuring out and I had to learn how to get better at ordering. Exact specifications, asking good questions up front. And then that again makes you a better seller. Because you figure out what would I have wanted or needed to know. Terrible though. But then I've had some very good ones where I've handed somebody, here's a script, here's the video of the same thing, but mine's got to be a little different. Voice it over for me. Very little direction after that. Here's the words, here's the video, doesn't even have to match, I'll fix that in editing. And she's like, but I don't sound like that. I'm like, I don't care. I heard you, sound like you, record the script, that's all I need. Beautiful, $40. I got my video done, whole video, $50. It was $50 for the whole video. And since Digital Marketer already did the video part and I did the editing on my own, it's like a 4-minute animated video. $50. Nice. Any other nightmare stories?
I have a question.
You have a question?
Yes. So now that you have migrated away from Fiverr, are you flat fee, are you hourly, or are you project based?
Both, 3. I'm moving away from project based. I hate invoicing. I hate invoicing. One of the, one of the greatest ways that you can scale a business to be past you so you have something to sell, so you have an actual asset and investment, is to create a process and productize.
Right. But
So
you
we are
yourself-
productizing.
You yourself.
We are moving to
Let's say I was
productization.
going to- I see.
So that we are going to have 3 base products, and you either buy, and it's website, integrated CRM, all the things and foundation a business owner needs, all that plus Facebook, which is actually starting to drive traffic. I think I may add LinkedIn on there, we'll see. And then the other one is just all in, Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn traffic, organic, social, everything you need to actually turn a profit, but it's expensive.
And you monitor it.
Everything is monitored. Monitored for results, monitored for functionality, monitored. All right,
This is your office, right?
this is my office.
Yeah.
Get shit done is my favorite thing
Oh, yeah.
in the world. Very military-esque, and I'm gonna give it to the guy in the back with all the questions. I'll ask a fun one.
Asking a lot of questions.
He asked a lot of
I have
questions.
envy now, right?
Yeah, you have envy. I've got.
Gotta stop asking.
I have one more get shit done, but in black.
Okay.
Black, like my heart. All right.
He deserves it.
Who has the worst client story?
Oh, how bad do you want to go?
Let's go bad.
Like, who's judging?
Crowd judges.
We're the judges. Tell your story.
We got 2 submissions, 1 and 2. Go. Worst. The short version, no TDLR.
No, I don't want to go first. I want to go second.
You're first. You brought it up. Go.
I didn't bring. What? Worst? The judge thing?
Worst.
Okay,
Go.
Worst client story. Australia. Worst accent ever. Worst time zone to work with ever. Worst haggling, where because of the exchange rate there. You know, because I'm like, listen, it's gonna be this one. Well, this one's gonna be a but every meeting had to be from either 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. to talk to them. And these people needed, yes, because it's morning there tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And but all right, so I was doing SEO work for these people. They used the his home-built website builder for custom CSS coding and everything else that I couldn't actually alter at all. I gave them 5 months of suggestions to which they did nothing on. Nothing. I was like, listen, you guys need to change this. Header tags, you need header tags. You need alt tags for your images. You need geo tags for your images. All this stuff. Hey, I don't know if that's real important. I mean, I met Neil Patel. I read a Neil Patel article. Neil, you know, and then basically, so 6 months down the line, they're like, how come nothing's changed? Because for 6 months I've been telling you to do this, and for 6 months you've argued with me. They didn't even want to get an SSL certificate on their site. Because they read an article somewhere that said that they didn't need to do it.
You didn't need one 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah. So this is the whole thing. So not only am I doing this, like I have to meet with them, you know, like I'm in the contract. It was like we're gonna meet at least once a month. And it ended up being the emergencies on their end were always at midnight on my end. And then it's like, but it was basically they were a quote unquote agency that outsourced me to do their SEO. So it was talking to them, and I wasn't allowed to actually talk to the client to explain to them how these guys weren't doing their job. So 6 months down the line, basically, we parted ways, and I was stuck still with a $1,600 invoice.
Of course you were. You're up.
Give him the book. I won't read it, but
This one's empty. You get to fill it.
I'm good. I'm good. He can use it.
But we still want to hear your story.
But my story is as a buyer on Fiverr. I was working with some guy from Bangladesh, and everything was just lost in translation. His understanding of the English language was not nearly as good as he thought it was. and we went back and forth. It turned out, at least I believe, he had certain responses already written, kind of like a template and everything.
Hey, I said build templates.
And he kept sending the same response to almost everything, every question I posed, over and over and over.
What color do you want? 5.
We must have I must have responded with this guy 15, 20, 30 times. I mean, he did good work, but the communication was just horrible. He was wearing me down. I mean, he was just tearing me up.
All right, I got the good ones now. Ask Gary V. Marketing gold in here. He curses almost as much as I do.
Is that Jab or is that the new one?
Ask Gary V.
Oh, nice.
The reason why I like this one specifically better is because real people call in and ask him questions, and then he put it all into a book. Like the stuff that he would just recommend that he'd charge you $500 for a half hour for, all in a book.
I brought a lot of people.
What?
I brought a lot of people.
Oh, you brought a lot of people. Hang on to that thought there. Let's see a good one. What's a good way to give away something?
Let's do a raffle.
Who wants it?
Can I be greedy? Or...
He can trade.
Who wants it?
I'm getting what?
I'll do. And then I'll loan it out to my group.
Business lesson number 50. Go get it. Don't ask for permission. Don't wait. Go get it.
I get to go, man.
Nice try. Sit down. No, just joking. Come here. This one's relevant. Hey, I'm hooking you up. No, you already got one. Never mind. Go away. Never mind. Let's see. Who has been on Fiverr the longest? Who has a business?
Is that a dummy?
Wait, a business on Fiverr or a business?
Any business. You're quiet. I have not met you yet. What's your name? Lori.
Thank you.
All the digital marketing for dummies.
Right here.
Written by our partners.
I want that.
Get it,
walk
2
up there
left.
and take it.
And 1 Gary V left. There we go. I'm going to impart that lesson one way or the other.
Thank you.
Go get what you want.
You gotta say Gary Bay though. Gary Bay.
They. And then I think with everybody who was on there, who sat down, there's this little picture up there. On the back of that is a checklist. It is the only 73 ways. I'm sure there's a few weird ones that are coming out, like proximity marketing. These are all the different ways you can market your business. And I have it set out. Remember I told you there's only 3 ways? It's set up by 3 ways. So if you don't have any awareness, don't go jumping to the bottom. Start at the top.
Is it prioritized?
No. No, because how you operate in your business will be somewhat unique. That certain platforms are better for you. YouTube's easy. Facebook Live. Video works really great right now. YouTube is great because it's searchable on Google, which is kind of important in search. Paid is always great. You can only drive so much with organic. Pinterest is great for certain things, but if you don't want to take a pretty picture, it's probably not for you. So it just kind of depends. Facebook ads are great.
You can hire it done.
You can, but if you have to churn out a lot of content, that could get really expensive really quickly. Or you could write one incredible article. Depends. Everything depends. So, wine, and I'm going to move that way and eat because I've not eaten enough.
Good job, Jen.
Still work together? I'm going to get a video of everybody else.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And don't forget